Fallout of the attack on the Capitol and now the impeachment of President Donald Trump. Congress and the nation appear more divided than ever. Well, today I'm joined by a lawmaker who retired 3 days before the riots. He served in the U.S. House since 1997. He is former Illinois Congressman John Shimkus, and he represented the 15th District. Congressman, it's good to see you, and thank you for taking the time to talk with us today. You're now kind of outside looking in, right. And with that being said, when you saw that mob storming the building that you had worked in for more than 30 years, what was your reaction?
It just broke my heart. It's like many members or people who've been around the Capitol, never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that I would have seen that occur. And I was distraught. I was emotionally depressed, and I'm still trying to climb out of that.
President Trump's role in all this, did he incite this insurrection, and should he take responsibility? And let's just hypothetically say, if you were sitting in that chamber yesterday, would you vote to impeach?
Yeah, 10 Republicans did. I think that was very courageous on their part. I think you have to decide whether you can judge what's inside the heart and the intent of the president. I do know this, that mob assembled in the ellipse because the president called them. I know that mob marched up to the Capitol because the president sent them. I hope I would have been courageous enough to vote yes. But the other issue is intent. What was the real intent? We know what happened, but was that the president's intent? And I think that's where some of my Republican colleagues said there was no intent. There was no intent for the violence to occur.
How do you react to that then? I mean,
he lit the match, though.
All right. With that being said, your successor, Mary Miller, made a headline herself. She quoted Hitler at the Trump rally before the march on the Capitol. That would easily be considered incendiary. What do you think? Well,
I've already addressed Mary's comments, and I said I would never quote Hitler, never. Even if Hitler said he loved his mom, I would never quote Hitler. What I did say to the media that asked, I said I would have quoted Proverbs 22:6, which is train up a child in the way they should go, and when they're old, they won't depart from it. She was trying to make the case about training the youth. Hitler was not a good example.
And with all of this happening right now, Congressman Shimkus, how long do you think it's going to take to heal the wounds and to somehow get the country back at least on the same page, but just near the same page, to avoid all of this polarization and extremism?
Well, you guys follow it. People, when they're able to socialize, get together, break bread, they create relationships. The partisanship has divided. But, I listened to your COVID stories. I think COVID also has caused people to be isolated, separated. Fear has emerged. And, I think that is also part of the variable that leads to this angst and anxiety. I think it's going to take a long time. It really requires elected members of Congress and the U.S. Senate and the president to really reach out and compromise. Get 60% of a deal. The problem is the far extremes don't want to compromise at all. Part of the reason why it was time for me to leave, because I do like to compromise. I'm a Reagan Republican. I'd rather get 80% of the deal than no deal, and then try to get 20% next time.
And with that said, Congressman, are you going to possibly stay connected in some ways with politics in a kind of a behind-the-scenes way?
I don't know about behind the scenes. I'm teaching at Southern Illinois University in Edwardsville, 2 classes. I might do some International Republican Institute, believe it or not, democracy training internationally. And but I'm not sure politically how active. I'm welcome to answer questions, but it's now time for that generation, the elected leaders today, to step up. And I'm even hesitant to do interviews because being a former member, I'm not a member, and it's a whole different ballgame when you are the member.
All right. John Shimkus, former U.S. Congressman from Illinois. Your tenure began way back in 1997. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Glad to be with you, Brad. Thanks a lot for having me.